And hi, I'm Tina Brock, and I am so pleased to be sharing some space here with Jason Sherman, who is entrepreneur, filmmaker, and the catalyst behind making this story come alive here. So this story is so fabulous that you brought all these people together to tell this story, but I want to start at the beginning, which is what made you know that this story now was the one that you needed to tell?
Well, it's the culmination of a lot of people's life work. You know, they were historians and experts and preservationists, and they've been trying their best to tell this story through books and meetings to small amounts of people. So they weren't reaching a very wide audience, which means nobody knew the story. Yeah. So that's what made me kind of start the movie and start interviewing them to find out more information about it.
So which is a wonderful thought, that we're preserving these ideas and these stories that otherwise wouldn't get told. And it's important for maybe somebody from a younger generation to come along and put everybody together in the same room. Tell us about the path to discovering even the first piece that said, wow, I'm living on top of this.
Yeah, I mean, I live on the Kings Highway, and I walk my dog in the park where all the Native American artifacts were found. And when I found that out, 6,000 years of artifacts, I was shocked. And I had to know more. So I started digging, and I found out that the oldest bridge in America was 1697 bridge that I lived right down the street from. Same with the Kings Highway, and it's the oldest used road in America. I was shocked and fascinated. I had to learn more. So the more research and digging I did, the more I found out, and it led me to the film.
And you talk about digging. We were talking about all kinds of things related to the program that you're going to learn more about as you're watching with us this evening. But we're talking, something really fascinating was that they built the Sugar House Casino on top of this huge, huge group of artifacts, right?
Yeah, that's the end of the Kings Highway where you can continue from there. But that was the foot where all the Native American chiefs would meet during the summer months, and William Penn would meet them there. And when they excavated the Sugar House Casino foundation, they found millions of artifacts, yes.
Wow. And so we're seeing a story that might not ever have come to pass had it not been for you. And you funded this program with it's like literally did the marketing, did the Kickstarter campaign, your editors and you. So it's really a labor of love, which is one of the things that we do really well here at WHYY, is to find the gems in the community that are so concerned and passionate about keeping these stories alive. And that's what your support does when you make a pledge of support. And I'm Tina Brock, and pleased to be sharing the spotlight with this man who is responsible for all of this. It's Jason Sherman. And one thing we want to get to right away, because you can't get it anywhere else, only here at WHYY, is the Kings Highway documentary T-shirt. When you make your pledge at $120, that comes down to $10 a month if you're a WHYY sustaining member. And I'm going to show you the back here. Explain these back for us.
Yeah, because you can't travel the Kings Highway without your official Explorer T-shirt. So you can visit all of the neighborhoods, and people will see that you're exploring the Kings Highway, just like they did in 1687.
Not going to find it anywhere else here at WHYY. Like so much of the programming that we do, we are looking and searching to find and excavate those stories and those ideas. And Patrick talked a little bit about the preservation of the, sort of that aspect of the show. Talk about trying to put all those people together to make that happen.
All the different organizations and historical societies, they basically work in their own situation and their own buildings and in their own circle. So for the first time in over 100 years, they all worked together on this project, which was pretty fantastic to see them all kind of be creative together and kind of put their heads together and put all their artifacts and documents together. So the film really brings the entire city of Philadelphia together in one fell swoop.
And so you're a catalyst for getting all of those ideas and all of those stories together in the same room. And sometimes that's what it takes, because that information exists in that generation. So it's good for somebody to come along.
Yeah, these people, they've worked their entire lives for decades on putting together these books and all their meetings and stuff. And the cool thing is that now they can finally have a legacy and tell this to future generations. And teachers have been showing the film in class for their students, and the students are doing walking tours along the Kings Highway and doing homework based on what they saw. So now we know the kids are starting to learn what we are teaching them.
So what does your support have to do with this? Huge, of course, because you are making this possible for everybody here in the Delaware Valley as a means and a manner and a form. And this is the man that's doing it.
As far as I'm concerned, he is the man of the hour. I'm Ed Cunningham, and I guess it was actually about an hour ago that I first met Jason Sherman when he came in to join us. And already, as I'm sure you are, I am very impressed with the vision that this man has for telling the story of the history of Philadelphia and, in a larger sense, of the early history of our country. So we're delighted to have him here.
And I'm Tina Brock, and here with Jason Sherman, and we are talking about the important role that you play as stewards in preserving these stories that passionate folks just like this guy, of which he is very unique in that regard, are telling this story. So how, of course, obviously you make your pledges, it makes it possible for all this to happen.
Yeah, supporting the program obviously helps, but being that Philadelphia is the most historic city in the country, but the lowest historic preservation budget in the country, means that we have to fight that much harder as a community. Mm-hmm. And we have to preserve our buildings and preserve our documents and preserve everything about this beautiful history that we have in this city. And this means our city archives, the documents of the history of America, the origin story. If it just go up in flames one day, and we wouldn't have them digitized because we don't have the budget for it. So the call to action that I can tell the folks at home watching this is to please support your community, support your historic preservation societies, your civic associations, and just be a part of your community, be aware of your surroundings, and tell your kids, teach your students that this history doesn't just revolve around Old City, it revolves around the entire city of Philadelphia.
And WHYY, of course, is the sort of central hub in terms of media and platforms for these different things to happen. You were talking a lot about how the show is being used to educate the kids,
Absolutely.
Right? And you're going into the schools.
Yeah, the schools and teachers are showing the students, and they're learning so much more history about their beautiful city.
And to think, I don't know, it's really daunting, I think, to think about if it just one man had not been so interested in the grain that started and the details, and you funded it yourself.
Yeah, so blood, sweat, and tears. There was so much hard work was put into this, and somebody had to tell this story. And I said to myself, why not me?
Yeah. Well, if not you, who then, right?
Apparently nobody.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's why WHYY is here. Also, is to preserve and to promote and to help these stories get out there to the Delaware Valley. You talk a little bit, which I think is a really special part of the program, about being a catalyst for pulling all of these historical minds together. That's so very important for the work that you do, and we really thank you for that.
Thank you.